Hello, good evening, guys. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's Kevin here bringing another video on information technology, and I am here with Day. Hey, Day, how you doing, man? What's
Doing it
up?
right about yourself.
Good. Can't complain, man. I wanted to get you on my channel. It's been one of those things. It's like every time I ask you to, your availability is, it's so hard to get you on my channel.
Oh man, yeah. I'm sorry we had to keep pushing it, but I'm glad we're on now. We're gonna have a pretty good conversation.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like, I had like 1,000 questions I want to ask you, but like before we even do anything, like I can't just randomly say, "Hey, this is Dad. Can you introduce yourself? Like, who are you and what you do? Like, I know you do like a lot of things, but
Okay, I got you. So my name is Day Johnson. I'm a cybersecurity engineer at Amazon. I've been in cybersecurity for right about 5 years. I started my career while I was in college. So just basically got into the industry as an intern, and then kind of built my career from there. I've worked across various domains between security operations, working various SOCs and MSSPs or MDRs. I previously worked at Datadog doing cloud threat detection engineering, and now I currently work on doing like security incident response, insider threat, and security automation. But also on the side, I do cybersecurity content. So I make videos on mainly YouTube, but I also kind of share some of my other content on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all of that. But I kind of just like create content to kind of share my journey into the field, what I'm doing, what I'm learning, how I'm approaching things, challenges, and all of that stuff. And also just kind of like technical things as well, like things that I kind of have some knowledge about, and I feel like I can teach other people. So there's that as well. And I also have a cybersecurity community called CyberWorks Academy with almost like 5,000 people now on Discord. And we just kind of chat up and just kind of like talk about cybersecurity, our career, our goals, and all that stuff. And yeah, that's who I am. And that's things that I do amongst many other things.
yeah, Dad, I wanted to get you on my channel because your story is very unique because I know you came to the United States. I think you were from Nigeria. You can correct me if I'm wrong, and you're like
That's
super
true. That's
smart,
true.
and you came here age of 18, and you just started in cybersecurity. So what, like for me, like I like to ask questions like what really like I know you came to the United States and everything, but what like intrigued you to get into cybersecurity? It's just like so random that you just like jumped into cybersecurity. I'd like to know more about that.
That's so funny. So what had happened was one night I was asleep and I had a dream that I was going to be in cybersecurity, and that's what happened. I'm just kidding. But basically, what happened was I came here when I was about 14, and then I did my high school here for a little bit in Virginia, and I had a teacher there that I believe she got a grant from the government to teach or like start a cybersecurity club. I think it was based off of like the Cisco cyber ops certification. So like I think they gave her the curriculum for free, and she could use that to like kind of like start a club. So she did that, and that was kind of what like sparked my interest. I was like, oh, what is this cybersecurity thing? Like that's kind of cool. So I joined the club. I was there for a bit, but that didn't really last long because I had to move over to Texas, which is where I am right now. But while I was in Texas, I was still like exploring cybersecurity by myself. I was kind of like trying to learn more about it. I was watching videos from like John Hammond and Network Chalk. Like shout out to those guys for like actually like making cybersecurity content creation like really cool, because like that's how many of us kind of like learn more about the field and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. I want to do this. So when after I graduated high school, I took a gap year from college and started majoring in cybersecurity in college, and I just kind of like threw myself into it. Like I was like, this is the thing I really like and enjoy, and I think it's really cool. So like whatever I need to do to learn more about it and become really good at it is what I would do. And that's kind of what kind of started my journey and led to like the internship and like several other opportunities after that.
That is awesome, man. I remember watching you. Like I remember I was on YouTube, and then I think you're into Utadi. Am I? Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
was like one of the videos I saw that I clicked on, and I'm like, this is interesting. And I looked at the video, and then you guys were talking about different certifications, and I remember you were driving along, and you were interviewing him, and you were driving everywhere, and
Yeah.
then you were asking about, oh, what certification you should get, this one, that one. It was a really good
Yeah.
interview. I remember that one. Then I had another one that I was watching one of your videos where actually you were doing like you woke up super early and then you were doing judo because I'm a judo guy. I love my judo. And you were doing
Uh,
jujitsu and you were on the floor doing locks and everything. I'm
yeah.
like, this is pretty cool. And you're just showing like a day in the life of what you do on your typical day. And before we go
Yeah.
into that information, I'm gonna take a step back again. So like for cybersecurity, like just cybersecurity in general, like I know cybersecurity is like big, like super big, and it's like saying I want
Hmm.
to be a doctor. What kind
Yeah.
of doctor? So like for cybersecurity, like what made you decide you wanted to go to a specific field? Did you ask anyone before that? Did you do any research? Like what did you do? Like what made you decide to to pick a specific thing, if that makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's a great question. So I think one of the things about me choosing to first go into cybersecurity was I just like the idea of being like a digital a digital defender of some sort, right? Which is like really really cool. It's like you have this kind of like childhood or like maybe like teenage fantasy of like, oh, I'm the guy that helps protect people online, right? Like that was really cool to me because I felt like it was like a calling of some sort of like a mission I could kind of like base my life around. Like my whole goal is to protect people online, and that's what I do on a daily basis. So I think that's kind of what steered me more towards, I guess, the blue team side of things because like I guess like if you're on the offensive side of things, you're kind of like breaking into things, which is also for good reason. But I kind of wanted to learn more like how do I protect these things? Like how do I you know build the skills to make sure that I can protect infrastructure companies or people like from these bad actors or these cyber attackers or hackers. And I think that was just really the main thing. It sounds a bit trivial, but it was like that driving force for me where like I kind of had this like really like intrinsic like motivation to like want to do everything I could to protect people around me because I would see stuff like you know cyber attacks or like breaches or whatever the case is where like somebody's like retirement fund gets stolen because like some company didn't have the right measures in place or wasn't able to stop a ransomware attack or like maybe like a school gets attacked or a hospital gets attacked, like crazy things just happen. I'm like, this is like really really bad. And just like the ability to like kind of like be able to like prevent that from happening or stop it from happening really drove me like like to build a career around this, just the same way like someone could like see something bad happen to their parent or their family or somebody and be like, you know what, I want to become a police officer, I want to become like a firefighter, or I want to become a doctor. Like the same thing was for me, like I want to be able to protect people that I love, but also everybody out there from like cyber threats, because there are people out there who like their whole mission was like their whole mission is literally to like do bad things to people online. So like I want to be able to like be in a position to like prevent them from doing those things. So I think that was really like that motivation for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. As someone that, I mean, I come from an NYPD background, so I totally get where you're coming
Mm,
from protecting and serving other people and helping other people. So I totally get where you're coming from.
yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And the funny thing for me is before we even got on this call was like we were having a bunch of IT issues.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh my goodness.
But all jokes aside, I was gonna ask you, like, you achieved so much like at a young age, and like you actually inspire other people that are around your age bracket to be better, to be a security advocate or to get into cybersecurity. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, how does that make you feel? Like people that are like 18, 17, 16, they see what you do, you see that you grind it out, get shit done, right? Like, what is your approach to that? What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm doing what I need to be doing because like we live in a world where like there are a lot of like role models for like the wrong things, right? There are people out there who are my age who are doing the wrong things. Or maybe like they're scamming, or maybe they're like like I don't know, like just doing bad things right out there. Or even like there are people out there who are also like influencers who are like just like living a life that does something else, whether they're like streamers or like athletes or like musicians, right? Everyone's kind of like influencing other people in one way or another, and somebody's going to watch that person or that streamer, that musician, that athlete, and it's going to be like, you know what, I want to be a musician in the future who's going to make great music. I want to be an athlete who's going to like play this sport or whatever and be the best at it. Like, or I'm going to be a influencer who's going to like inspire people to do this and the third. So like for me, like I'm happy that I'm in a position where like I can be that person that can like plant a seed in someone else's like mind, like, oh wait, what, like you were able to like get into cybersecurity as a teenager, like okay, I don't need to like spend my late teenage years or early 20s like wasting my life or like partying away my life or like doing all these things that are not going to be helpful to me and my family. I can actually spend that time learning a valuable skill that's going to help me do something valuable for the world, but also like protect people, provide for my family, all of those things. So I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm glad that I'm able to like even if it's like someone just watches my video and they're like, wait, like this guy's like pretty young and he's doing this. Like, why can't I do that? So it's like, okay, you can actually see that somebody who is your age, who maybe even looks like you, right, is from the same background as you, is able to do this, then you can definitely do it, right? So I think, to answer your question, it makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm actually making a positive impact, and being like, a sort of like, I guess like a seed planter for people who can see this and like take this and like, you know what, I can do this as well. And they can also do the same thing for other people. I think that's how we build like a spiral of like positivity and just people being positive impacts, generation after generation. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I remember, and to just change the topic, I remember I was cheering for you when you got your passport in the United States, and I was super happy, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he did it, and I was like, damn, and then. Like how did that make you feel when you got your passport? And I'm asking this question because I have family that are not from here, and I have family that are out of the country, and I have family that like actually
Yeah.
got papers and everything, and I know that you like really bust your ass. This is not like some bullshit story. You really bust your ass and you went all in, and yeah, and you got your passport, and I saw that picture. It was awesome. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, like it was just like, I guess, like peace and relief. Just like the journey to that point was definitely like a very long journey, but just like peace and gratefulness to God for like just getting me to that point, right? Like that's the biggest thing I can use to describe that feeling. Just peace and joy with regards to that.
that's awesome, man. And I'm gonna change the topic a little bit again. We encounter our heroes. We encounter people that we talk to a lot, that we like, that we're cool with, and I know one of the biggest mentors that you have, or you I'm not sure if you still have, but is Henry from Tactual Chatter, and I interviewed him on my podcast like over a year ago, and he's super smart, really smart guy, and I know that you guys work together. So I don't want to I don't want to ask this question, but I'm going to. But like I know Henry is like he was working in the same company as you. And how did you like this is like I want you to give advice to other people. How did you approach him to be like a mentor, like we provide mentorship? Because sometimes we ask people, oh, I want you to be my mentor, but then it's like, who the hell are you? I don't know who you are,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, how did you approach him?
So I actually met Henry like before he became my mentor. So we met on LinkedIn, I believe, right? I actually reached out to him. Actually, that's what happened. So I reached out to him on LinkedIn. I texted him on LinkedIn. I was like, "Hey, like, this was before I even got into cybersecurity. I was like, hey, I believe I was a college freshman at the time. I was like trying to learn more about cybersecurity. I'm doing home lab projects. Like, I am like getting these certifications. Like, this is what I'm doing. But I just want to learn more about like the field from somebody who is already working in the field. Because at that time, Henri I believe he was a lead at the company I was working at, which is Optiv, the company he was working at that time, which I eventually joined later on. He was a lead there, and I was like, yes, so like I'm just trying to learn more about the field and everything. I don't even know how I found him. Just probably found him because we were like in the
Mm.
same like DFW like Metroplex, right? So I connected with him on LinkedIn, sent that message, and ever since then we just like clicked, right? I feel like the thing about it was like this is what I advocate a lot about, like mentor mentee relationships. Like the mentor mentee relationship is like always like sweetest when the mentee already has something going on for them. Like the mentee already like shows that they're actually like invested in like their growth. All the mentor has to do is just kind of like guide you in the right direction, right? That's what like always makes it the best like situations, right? And Henry and I are still like we still have that kind of relationship as well, because like he's further ahead, like experience wise with me in the than me in the field. So we still talk and interact and all that stuff. So I also consider him a mentor. But with regards to your question, right, I already had like things I was doing at this point in time. I was like, like I said, I was taking certifications, doing trainings, I was doing home labs, I was like posting my stuff online. I was just really like doing everything I could to like build my skill at this point in time. I wasn't really looking for a job at this point in time, but I just wanted to learn more about like the landscape. So we connected, we started talking. He would help me with like advice when I was applying for jobs, interviewing, all of that stuff. And I think the reason why like he had he had this like willingness to do this for me, which I'm not trying to speak for him, was just because he saw that I was already doing the work. All he needed to do was just like guide me in the right direction, right? He didn't have to do like, oh, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. It was like, oh, like, okay, you're doing this, like this is the right way to go with regards to that, because he has more experience, or he had more experience. So at the time, we actually hadn't worked together yet. So I first got my first job at a local MSSP. I worked there for a while, but Henry was like, no, like like we need to get you into like Optiv, because like your skill set is like what we're looking for in our MSSP or MDR. So he referred me for the role. Now I want people to know, like, when someone refers you for the role, they can't interview you, so there's no bias there. So I got interviewed by his manager and another senior analyst on the team, and it all worked out. And I was able to join Optiv as a threat analyst. I worked with Henry for like a couple of months because he left for a better opportunity. But it was great, like just kind of learning from him. Like he helped me onboard a little bit. It kind of put me through how things worked there, and that helped me really succeed. I grew really fast at that company, and even in my career, like afterwards from that. So I think when it comes to that mentor-mentee relationship, I would implore whoever wants to be a mentee to a good mentor to like have something going on for yourself, right? Like figure out like, okay, what direction you want to go. Start doing something towards that and let your mentee be the person to kind of like guide you in the right direction. Now, if you want someone to like completely handhold you, they're looking for a coach, which is completely different. But if you're looking for a mentor, you have to have something going on for yourself that they can like kind of like use their experience and knowledge to like give you give you advice or their opinions on the right direction to go based off of like their own experience and what they've seen and have experienced in the field. So that would be my advice on my experience with regards to like mentor mentee relationships.
Yeah, I was like, I like one Tibet. I when like, and you kept repeating it over and over again. Was saying like, come with homework, come with the work that you actually did. Like a lot of people, when they want someone to mentor them, they do absolutely nothing. They do zero work. They don't Google any answers. They don't go
Yeah,
on YouTube. They don't take the time to learn before asking a question.
yeah,
Like, if you go to someone and you want them to be your mentor, and they're like, "Bro, did you even take 5 minutes to Google that answer?" Like, please do some research, right? For the love of God, right?
yeah,
So that's you have to
yeah,
understand that when you're in that mentor mentee situation, like you have to understand that if you're gonna ask for a mentor, you give 100% of your time as well. It's all about time and commitment. If you
yeah,
don't do
yeah.
that, they're gonna think you're lazy, or they're gonna think, okay, this person's not taking the time to learn. Like what the heck, right? So those things are
That's
like
true.
really
That's true.
really important when it comes to having the mentor mentee. It's and what you said with the other thing you said, coaching. Yeah, coaching is completely different. It's like, all right, let me handle this person. Let me show them how
Yeah,
to do this, show them how to do that. We meet up every single day, and maybe you don't
yeah,
know how to do this, maybe you don't know how to do
yeah,
that. That's completely different for someone that is just
yeah,
asking for a t bit of advice. And the other thing I'm going to throw in
yeah.
there is the importance of trying to build a genuine connection with someone. Like you actually took the time to get to
That
know
is
him
true.
first before you ask him for help, right? So it's important to build up connections with
Yeah,
someone because
yeah,
what the hell does that person owe you? Doesn't even know who you are, right? So it's like, who are you, right? Why am I gonna
yeah,
help you if I don't even
yeah,
know who you are? So you want to
yeah,
make sure you build that genuine connection
yeah,
with that person, and like what they say, do your
yeah,
homework, and you should be good after that. And they'll probably mentor you, but you gotta,
yeah.
you know, take the time to get to know that person. Yeah, but like I'm gonna change the topic again a little. I go back and forth, so don't mind me. So
That's all
and
good. That's all
I know in
good.
one of your videos, and I mentioned that earlier before, like you were doing judo. So like me, I love judo. So like I love my judo, and I love my boxing too. I do boxing and I do kickboxing. So what got you into
Nice.
judo? Like what was the this, I guess like 'cause I know you could do karate, you could do Muay Thai, you could do taekwondo. It's like so many different things you could do. What made you pick that?
So I was actually that was actually a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, but the trainer was doing like hybrid judo and jiu-jitsu because like he was teaching us judo because like if you're in a standing position like with jiu-jitsu, if you know a couple of judo moves like throws and all of that, you can easily get your opponent to like the ground and like get them to submit from there. As compared to if you're like only know if you're only so good at like your Brazilian jiu-jitsu, your grappling, like it's gonna be like you're only gonna be good on the ground, right? So it was basically adding like some judo throws, like hey, like this is how you get your opponent to the floor, and then you can like take them down from there. So it was actually jujitsu. Now the reason why I got into jujitsu was because I wanted to like start doing like martial arts of some sort. I thought about like okay, Muay Thai, boxing, Taekwondo. I was like these are like striking sports. Now I value like my skin, my brain, and just like everything like that. So I'm like, I don't want someone just like give me like a punch and like just knock me out or like concuss me or like, just like shift my brain or something. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay clear of striking arts like for now and just go for like grappling. Like grappling, like the worst that could happen is maybe like, maybe like a twisted ankle or like wrist or like, broken bone, which is not any better, but I feel like I'm fine with that liability over like like a damaged brain of some sort, right? So and also like I kind of like the fact that, and I know like a lot of martial arts are like very like strategic and tactical at the same time, but I like the fact that jujitsu is like very calculated. Like you have to like be very like calculated with your moves, like like know what you're gonna do next, or even like in the moment, like be able to like think fast and wittily so that you're able to like change your moves to like get yourself in a position of advantage against your opponent. So I like that, like I guess that brain stimulation of it. And it's also really good cardio. Like any martial arts is like really good cardio. And my my cardio is like really really bad. So I was like, I need something that's gonna push me a little bit. So I did that for a bit, but I kind of paused recently because I moved to a new place and I've not been able to find a gym yet. I've actually honestly not searched well enough. But I plan to get back into grappling, jujitsu definitely soon. But that's why I chose it. It was a nice way to like work out to build more cardiovascular capability, and also like kind of stimulate my brain like in a way that's kind of like teaching me to like think ahead or like think fast in like situations like that. Plus, it's also good self defense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I love my equal throws. Throw people, send someone flying in the air, just throw them. Like, oh my god, what the heck?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see someone like you use your whole low body gravity
Yes.
center and just throw someone. And then I
Yeah.
love watching
Exactly.
UFC. So when you watch UFC and you see
Oh yeah.
how that person is on the floor and they're getting pummeled, and then they move their body a different angle, and all of a sudden it messes everything up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't do the lock I wanted to
Yeah.
do. God damn it! So yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting,
Yeah. Man,
very
like
interesting.
it gets crazy. Like you see someone like getting punched, and the next thing you know, they make a pivot and just like drop the opponent and like get them in like a arm bar or something. Like those like just they look like real time action movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, I love UFC and boxing. So I watch those are the two things that I watch is UFC and box. I'm big on boxing because the boxing is like you gotta have crazy amount of cardio, especially when you're hitting someone. You're using your hands a lot. Crazy
Yeah.
amount of cardio.
Yes.
So it's just like it's and then I
Yes.
have a bag and I love hitting my bag. I put a picture of a printer in there and just hit the bag. Take out my frustration on that bag and hit it, and it's just like yeah. So it's like that's like the joke. I had a joke about that where the executive was screaming and yelling at me. And when I worked in my help desk job, and I'm like, I'm getting you a punching bag for Christmas. You're always screaming and yelling at me.
Oh man, just just stick your face in the
Yeah,
punching
exactly.
bag and problem solve.
But yeah, man, I was gonna ask you another question. So for you, like, what's your advice for someone? And I hate asking this question because it's like I'm gonna get like a 40 hour, maybe a 50 hour answer for this. What's your advice for someone trying to get into cybersecurity? And I know it's gonna be like, okay, what kind of cybersecurity? Or this, that. But like, what's your advice for someone trying to break into
Yeah.
cybersecurity? Or like someone new actually.
So my answer to this has changed like over time. So my advice is like first kind of do some research on like cybersecurity roles, right? Like as much as you can. Now, there's not all the information out there is not like enough. Well, I guess about the jobs and what to expect, and you really can't tell what you'd be doing until you're actually in that role itself. So I would just first do a bit of an inventory of like what's out there, right? Like the same way like people who want to get into medicine, like they like check out like what does a dentist do, what does an anesthesiologist do, what does an ear doctor do, what does an eye doctor do, what does a like there are all these different things, and people like kind of like research them so that they can kind of know which one they want to do, and then they go specialize in that even though they've not had the experience with it. They just kind of like, oh, like this is cool, I want to work on people's ears, right? Do the same thing with cybersecurity, right? Like, okay, like maybe like you want to do threat intelligence, like I want to be able to like try to find out details about attackers, and how they're operating in the cyber landscape. That's really cool. I like that. Like I like to snoop around and like find out information that I shouldn't have access to. Or I want to be an offensive security engineer. I want to be able to like hack into things and like break them, Or I want to be able to like secure applications. Like I want to be able to like make sure like they're safe before they're actually like shipped. Or I want to be a SOC analyst, or a detection engineer or a cloud security engineer. Like try to take inventory of these things and see which one like you actually like or like sparks your interest. And the good thing about cybersecurity is like when you get it started, it's not super targeted sometimes. Like you can learn the basics and then use that to like do anything else you want to do, right? Because the basics always remain the same, right? There are core frameworks, core concepts, core terminologies, like just core design principles that always will be the same across any field or domain. So learn the basics first and foremost, right? Don't skip on your IT basics, your fundamentals, like your programming basics, your like system basics, your operating system basics. Like all those things matter for anything you're gonna do within like cybersecurity as a specialization. So do that first. And then if you want to, if you have some time, like try to like kind of like test the waters. The great thing about right now is that you can actually get get knowledge or
Mm.
experience of like various roles from simulated platforms like TryHackMe. For example, like if you want to explore like what a DevSecOps engineer does, you could just go through TryHackMe and just look at the DevSecOps like engineering path and see if that's something you like and you find interesting. If you don't, no pressure. Like you didn't have to do a job for that. You just like went through it. Like I don't want to do this. You can then go to like maybe the pen tester path. Like oh, like I actually enjoy this, or maybe you could go to the like the suck path or whatever. Like oh, I actually enjoy this, right? And there's no pressure there because like you're just like trying your hands out with this thing or these concepts in a simulated environment without any sort of like pressure to it. Like you didn't have to like get a job or anything, but you can actually figure out what you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy malware analysis, maybe you enjoy like working in a sim, maybe you enjoy like writing exploits, maybe you enjoy DevSecOps, whatever the case is. Explore those things, and once you choose one thing that you actually enjoy and you wanted to go down that path, try to stick to it for as long as possible. Because another problem I see is that people they pick something and they're like going down this rabbit hole, they're enjoying it, and then like, no, I'm gonna go from like sock to like pen tester, like from literally like going down like a sock like training path to like going to like doing offensive security without really getting too deep into like that path that they chose. If you choose a path, try to stick to it as long as possible. If possible, stick to it to the point where you actually get a job. And the reason why I say that is because once you start with something, the compounding effects of like your learning and getting better at it is very easy. So if you're down this path and you're chasing like knowledge and education and training and certifications, try to go down that path as possible till you get a job. And then when you get a job, if you actually enjoy it, then keep going down that route. If you don't, at least you have a job that you can use as a stepping stone to another cybersecurity industry that you might enjoy, right? What I've noticed is that people don't spend enough time doing something or don't see something to completion before they like jump to another thing, right? So stick to something long enough, get a job with that thing, and then if you decide this is not good for you, the great thing about cybersecurity is the fact that you can always pivot. You can always pivot. I've seen people who have pivoted from like offensive security to defensive security, from defensive security to cloud security. I've done it myself. I've gone from like SOC analyst to like detection engineer in the cloud to now doing like insider threat and like incident response and SOAR. Like you can just go around because if you have the experience and knowledge. So my advice is this: don't skip the fundamentals. Like do what you need to do to learn the fundamentals. Explore different things through simulated environments, like TryHackMe, whatever the case may be. See if you like those things. Once you find one thing that you're actually interested in, choose that thing. Go down that path as long as you can till you get a job. I'm saying like do literally everything you can to get a job in that thing. Like let's say like you choose like if you choose security operations and you're like I like this thing, like okay, go do your hack the box CDSA, go do your track me suck path, right? Go do your BTL1, do your CCD, do the offsite like training as well. Like go down that path, learn as much as you can, get a job, and if you don't like that, then use that as a stepping stone to something else. Now that's a really high level overview of like how I would say people should get into cybersecurity. Um, but I think that and during the course of this journey, if you're able to be consistent and stick to something long enough, you actually learn to enjoy it. And if you don't end up enjoying it, you're not going to be losing, because you're going to be able at least to have something as experience you can use to get to what you actually want to do. Again, don't underestimate the value of like simulated environments. Like I said, like they help you kind of figure out if these things is something like you actually interested in, and if you like it, then you can actually go down that path and then use that as what you're going to use to start or build your cybersecurity career. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, and that's the thing I always tell everyone. Like, don't skip on your fundamentals. Like, the fundamentals are so vital when it comes to IT. I even made a post about that today, actually, on Twitter. And that the fundamentals are super important. Like, learning your operating systems, your networking, TCP/IP, your cloud infrastructure, all that stuff, the basic stuff is super duper important, super vital.
Yeah,
Because God forbid you get a high level job, and they're like, okay, I need you to do this. So yeah, I don't know how to do that. And you get in trouble, right? So you want to
yeah,
make sure that you know your fundamentals, and I agree 100% with that. And the other thing that you said, which is always my advice to people that are brand new to IT, is don't go all over the place. A lot of people do that.
yeah,
They go all over the
yeah,
place. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go get A+, then I'm gonna go get Pen Plus, I'm gonna go get this, I'm gonna go get that, I'm gonna go get that. I'm like, calm down there, buddy. Figure out where you want to go, build a path, build your plan of action, and do it. Don't go all over the place. It's like people that are new do that. They get like a bunch of certifications. They like search that, and
yeah,
then little way they know that they have to start from here to here, right? Make a plan of action, and you should be good to go after that.
yeah,
So some people do that for some
yeah.
reason. I'm not sure why, but they do that. So Your advice is good.
I think it's just like it's just shiny object syndrome. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like as humans, like we have like just such a propensity to like see something really cool. I'm like, oh, like I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that. Like we're it's hard for us to stay consistent sometimes, but you reap a lot of rewards in consistency. And if you can like control your urges of like when it's like try the newest latest thing, like oh, I'm gonna go do AI, oh, I'm gonna do Kubernetes, I'm gonna go do Docker, like I'm gonna go do like, yeah, these things are cool and great, and it'll be good to know them, but do they actually align with like where your career is at right now? Like, is that a path you're on right now? Does that help you with like the opportunities you're looking for right now? If the answer is no, then you're really gonna be wasting your time like doing that. So like, just try to like have some self control, focus on what's important, get your job, and then see if you want to
Yeah,
explore other
exactly.
things.
Exactly. And this is a perfect segue to networking. And I'm not talking about TCP IP. Like I know you're on I know you're on LinkedIn. You post on LinkedIn and everything. Like, and I know you met like textual chat and a bunch of other people, and that's just him. So like, how important between for you, like for
Yeah.
you, how important is having a LinkedIn profile?
Oh, absolutely important. Like, what are you doing if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, right? Like what? Like, but here's the thing though. Like, not everyone has to be like a LinkedIn like influencer or anything. But you should have a LinkedIn profile. You should have a place where you're sharing like what you're doing, what you're learning, like how you're approaching your career, right? So I think definitely having a LinkedIn profile, but also like trying to build your community right on LinkedIn, right? Trying to like find people who are similar to you, to like connect with or to like learn from. Now, here's the truth: there's gonna be people that are gonna reach out to that will not respond. Right? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I don't. I'm not able to respond to messages. Sometimes I'm able to, but it's also a great way to like reach out to people that might be in places you want to be and be like, hey, like, how did you do this? Right? Now, I would tell you like if someone has a YouTube channel where they've made videos, advice about stuff, I beg you, like literally try to go like look up that video on YouTube before you like reach out to them and ask them about that, because like it is so annoying when someone like knows you have a YouTube channel and watches your videos and they're like, "Oh, so what do you think about like this Splunk certification?" Like, I literally just made a video about that like yesterday. Like, why are you asking me? I literally made a video about this, like outlining every single thing, right? Yes, reach out, but don't ask them something they've already like talked about or made a video about, because I'm just literally gonna point you back to that video or not even respond, right? But it's a great place to like connect, build community, to share what you're doing and just like actually even possibly find opportunities. Like recruiters are constantly like reaching out to people on LinkedIn, like constantly. Like hiring managers are doing that. Folks are looking for people to like come work with them. So you should definitely be on LinkedIn, and you should also try to be in some ways like sharing what you're doing, connecting with people, having conversations, because it's just a great place for that. It's literally a professional social media, so use it for that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And that I was laughing because like, that happens to me all the time. I get emails about a video I already made. I'm like, I already covered that. What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, yeah, never fails.
But the other thing that's important is like remember that, and I'm gonna throw this here on this in this video. Just remember that on in LinkedIn, because people are gonna tell you, oh, I don't have anything to post. That's not true. So if you're on LinkedIn, you have like so much to post. You could post about you taking a certification, whether it's Security Plus, Blue Team One. Post about maybe a lab you're working on Try Hack Me. That's why Try Hacking. When you
Hmm.
finish your room, you could
Hmm.
share the room with LinkedIn. It has that option. It has that capability of doing that.
Yeah,
So there's like so many ways
yeah,
to like share something on LinkedIn, so you can't really tell me, oh, I don't have anything I could post. I wanted to throw that
hmm,
out there.
yeah.
So,
Completely agree
but
with that.
yeah, my next question for you is, and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't think Kev's gonna ask me this question. Maybe, but what got you into creating a YouTube channel?
Oh, so I think for this, like, definitely just like I just wanted to share my journey, right? I just wanted to like document my career journey in cybersecurity, right? I think that we have a lot of like people who are making different kind of content. I just wanted to be able to like kind of post like what I was learning about, things that I was doing, and just like also things I was learning, right? And that's really all it is. Like, it's just like this is my journey. This is how I'm approaching my career real time. Like I'm talking about like real time, like weekly real time. Like you literally know what's going on in my career, like or what I'm doing at every point in time, real time. And just kind of use that to like show people what is possible and like, like how to navigate like these different things in cybersecurity, right? Because like I don't have it all figured out. Like I myself, I'm still kind of figuring out like this whole landscape, right? Like I don't know everything. Like I'm still pretty new here. Like I'm still kind of like I mean I've been here a couple of years, but I'm still kind of the new guy. Like the people that have been doing this for like 4 times like the time I've been here. So people have been doing this like since I was born, right? So I'm still kind of like the new guy, but I'm still kind of like sharing my perspective. my goal is to like just kind of like share how I'm approaching things, what I'm doing, what has helped me, what I've failed at as well. Just completely transparent about everything. And hopefully people can find value in that and apply it to their own journeys and their own like careers and their own learnings. And like, if it helps them, great. If it inspires somebody to get in cybersecurity, great. But for me, it's just like I just want to be able to like have a platform where I could like share these things, and whoever it impacts, I feel like it would be a honor that I'm able to do that, from my YouTube channel. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think people appreciate that, like when you show like the human side of you, and you because a lot of YouTube channels
yeah,
make a lot of things to like make it look like glamorous and beautiful when it's not. Like when you're on YouTube, there's a lot of YouTubers
hmm,
out there that they never show any failure or never show any mistakes or never show anything that. And I'm not saying I want something bad to happen to you, but I'm just saying like you never show like
yeah,
your ups and downs, and it's good to like be
yeah,
transparent about
yeah,
that, especially when it comes to IT and cybersecurity. So.
yeah. We're
And
humans
I was,
after all.
and I remember this video you posted, and you're gonna be like, "Oh man, Kevin's watching some of my videos." And I remember this one video you made, and it was a really good video, and that's the reason why I like to have you on my channel because you have some great content. But that one video you made was really good, and then it didn't get a lot of views. And I don't know if you remember, but I don't remember
Mm,
you said if this video is gonna kill me because I'm trying to educate people, so be it. I'm sure you remember that video. You made a video
mm,
on saying that,
wow.
oh, because a lot of people make videos and they get a lot of views because of TikTok or this, they make stupid posts, right? Stupid videos that are not relevant to education. And then like sometimes you make videos that are like educational,
Yeah.
are like really good videos and it doesn't get any views. Like why is this not getting any views?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know I make a lot of like technical videos that don't really get that many views, or like really deep dives that don't get many views, and it's definitely it's discouraging. Like when you make like a full on like technical video, like this is like something that like is super valuable, but people don't watch it because it's like it's not the like occasional like advice on this or that, or maybe the shock value kind of video. So it's definitely discouraging, but it doesn't affect like the mission. Like someone is gonna find that video, it's gonna be valuable to them. Whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's a year from now, or several years from now. But also like I'm also like trying to like do a better job of like how do I present this content in a way that, how do I present this content in a way that is engaging to the audience, right? How do even if it's a video of me literally like, let's say like I make a video about me like building like a cybersecurity application in like Java. Nobody wants to watch Java videos. Like what the why the heck are you even writing code in Java? Like use Python. You know what I mean? But like, how can I make this video that might be not so like interesting, but could be valuable and make it engaging to the viewer, right? So like that's definitely been helping me grow as a content creator, and just like an educator as well, because I consider myself an educator. It's definitely hard to when you don't get the engagement you want, but you take that lesson and you like apply it to like future videos or future content, and that's like kind of how I approach
Yeah, and anyone that's watching this, because obviously this is recorded right now, but when anyone that's watching this and that is I'm interviewing Day, like you guys should subscribe to his channel. He has a lot of good videos, so I definitely recommend you subscribe and like his videos and follow him. Like he has a lot of good videos. But yeah, I was gonna because sometimes you make educational, and I remember you made that video because I remember in my brain, I remember certain things. And then and I remember that other video where you're just in your room talking with the microphone. There's a lot of videos I because I watch a lot of your videos, but I was gonna
yeah.
ask you. So what got you into like actually teaching content? That's what I want to know about because like
Mm.
you teach videos, you do teaching content, you do educational content, like because I know some people will be like, hey, you're not a trainer, you're not an instructor, you're not an educational person. Maybe you like how what made you get into that stuff to actually teach stuff?
I'd say first it was like I wanted to learn what I was doing better. So here's a secret if you didn't know. When you teach something, it actually helps you get better at it. Like you have if you teach it the right way, like you have to know what you're teaching before you're able to teach it. So if I learn something and I'm able to teach it properly, and people are like, "Oh, I learned something from this," I'm like, "Okay, I actually understand this topic very well." So, um, I wanted first to be better at what I was learning. So I figured like, what better way to get better at what I was learning than to teach it. Secondly, I wanted to. I like the idea of being able to like educate people, right? And this is not from a perspective of like being better than someone, but being able to like give back what I have, right? Like my educational content is all free on YouTube, right? So being able to kind of like turn my knowledge of what I'm learning into something that's going to be helpful to somebody and like knowing that this thing could help them like be better at their job or get a promotion or whatever, like that, I love the idea of that. Like, I guess it's like being of service to somebody else through educating them, right? And yeah, I think that's really it. It's just like it's like being better at what I do, and just really enjoying like being an educator by serving, and kind of sharing my knowledge. Yeah, I think that's what got me into it. I just like those two things, and it keeps me like wanting to like keep educating and teaching about all this fun stuff.
That's cool. And how nervous were you when you actually had to speak in the actual presentations? I know I saw you at Blacks in Cybersecurity and a few other conference events, and like, because I remember when I spoke for the first time, I was like, I was shitting my pants. I was asking that question.
Yeah, it's definitely like a bit nerve wracking. I would say. Now, I would say like, geez, like we're doing content and making videos has made me a lot better at talking. Because like even now, like I'm not the best with my words, right? Like sometimes I stutter, I speak too fast, I'm not that articulate. But me talking right now is way better than me like 5 years ago. Me 5 years ago could not talk like this. Like I would have like so many ums and like just so many things that just like would make my conversation or my talking like or whatever it is like not good or easy to listen to. So I've improved greatly. I still have a long way to go, but like just making content and making videos has made me so much better at talking. Now it's different when you're talking in front of a camera, right? In front of like just like this, I literally have like a camera and a wall behind me. In comparison to like being in a room filled with people, literally just like sitting there looking at you and quiet. You know what I mean? Like it's like nerve wracking. It's just like whoa, like they're judging me right now. Like they're because people's faces are like so expressionless. Like you're just like they're just like you're just like staring at you. And some people have like really like like frowning faces. Some people have really nice faces. But you're like, geez, like you just like your heart's beating fast. But I think like once you kind of like do it a little bit, a couple of times, like you start getting better at it. And I want to do it more so I can get better at it. But like I've learned to like kind of like slow down my speech, learn how to like articulate things a little bit better, learn how to like have like inflections or like cadences with how I talk. Maybe even sneak in a joke here and there to like kind of lighten up the room a little bit. Just kind of like doing things that even like more world acclaimed speakers do to help them with like calming their nerves and like engaging with the audience. I'm trying to get better at that. I've tried to apply those things whenever I do talks and stuff like that. So it was definitely nerve wracking. It's still always nerve wracking. I haven't done it in a while, but I think I try to like just be conscious about it and just like really like get better every single time I do it, so I can keep getting better for the next one and the next one and the next one. And that's how I've approached that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember speaking at Romania. So I spoke at Romania, and they're like, "Yeah, so Kev, it's just gonna be a little room." And then they take me as an auditorium with over 1,000 people in it, and I was like, yeah,
Jeez.
this is not gonna work for me." And I ended up talking, but I was like so nervous. But
Oh
yeah, I was
man.
like, "What the heck is this?" But yeah, yeah, it happens. When you go to a conference event and you're speaking, you get nervous. Like I get nervous all the time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
normal. It's good if you
Yeah.
get nervous. It's good. It's normal.
Yeah. It
So,
is.
but
It is.
I was gonna ask you about Cyberwalks Academy. I always recommend anyone that's a blue teamer or trying to do incident response or trying to do anything cybersecurity related. I usually recommend your website, Cyberwalks Academy. So, what made you come up with that website, or how'd you like threw that website together? Just curious about that.
So, again, this is another thing that a lot of things that I do or I start or I make are just born out of like problems that I had or like things that I saw were missing. I think the reason not I think the reason why I started Cyberworks Academy, the community specifically, which we're mainly on Discord, is because I didn't really have a community like that when I was kind of coming up in cybersecurity. The most you had was like like Hack the Box or like Try Hack Me Discord, which is like these are pretty huge. Like there are like hundreds of thousands of people in there, and like you're just kind of like whoa, like okay, like what like hello, and like people were just like chatting, like it's crazy in there. So I wanted to start something like, and who knows, maybe like we can go to that amount, but I wanted to start something like where people like me, like people that kind of like are my age or younger or anybody, it's for anybody really, but I felt like people would be a little bit more willing or open to like joining a smaller community with people that are like their age, they're in college or in high school or like just starting up with a career, like not like these crazy like geek dudes that are like I've been hacking for like years. Like, okay, we're just kind of figuring it out over here. We're not the best at what we do. We're getting better every day. Like we're improving our skills. Like we're actually like pretty competent and we're getting better all the time. We have people who have been doing this for several years, and we have people who are just like literally trying to get started. Like they're in high school, just like getting in, and there's like a lower barrier there to like being around people of your, I guess, like of your own like category of some sense, right? Like you don't feel like, oh, this place is too big, I can't really communicate here or like reach out here, because it's still
Mm.
it's chat, right? It's still like Discord chat or whatever. But even in that, like it's still nerve-wracking, like to be amongst like 200,000 people or like whatever amount of people there. So I want a place where people can kind of like feel a sense of community amongst people that are like them, that are also in the same stage of career that they are. Now it's mostly entry level people and mid level people, but we have a lot of people that are also like pretty experienced. They've been in cybersecurity for 10, 20, even longer than that. So that was the motivation behind it. And it's grown, it's continues to grow. We're getting close to like 5,000 members right now. The goal is to get to 5,000 by the end of the year, but we'll see what happens there. But just a place where like you can meet like-minded cybersecurity professionals, people that are in the same place or same level or same situations as you are, with regards to the cybersecurity industry.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I was just wondering because I always, like I said, I always recommend people that I do calls with people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, look at they have some great videos. Check out his website too." And then I follow his Discord. I'm got 1,000 Discords, so
I know, man. You're like everywhere. I'm like everywhere I go. I'm like, I see Kev. Like, this dude's everywhere.
But yeah, that's great, man. That's good. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, like I appreciate that you have a Discord because it's good because it's you guys got to understand that having a smaller Discord is better than having a big Discord. Like when it's too big, at that point it's kind of hard to control. But also at that point, it's like
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to ask the question because there's so many things going on behind the scenes. There's so many people talking
yeah,
at the same time, and
yeah, yeah,
you don't know, but they're probably not going to answer
yeah,
your questions. There's so much going on, right? That's the other thing. So it's good to have a smaller,
yeah,
like, tight niche community versus having a big community because sometimes it's too big. It's you can't control it. So,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
ask you another I was gonna ask you another question. So, for you, like specifically, like do you have any certifications? Are you working on for this year, or do you have any conference events that you plan on going for this year? I know the year's almost over, but I'd like to ask those questions.
For the rest of the year, honestly, I don't have any conferences planned. I actually I actually like made a decision that I'm not gonna go for any conferences this year at all. Just because like I just kind of like got burned out with conferences, and then it's like just taking this year off, not to go to conferences. I could have gone to like Black Hat, DEF CON, or like Wild
Mhm.
West Hacking Fest, but I like I just taking a break from conferences this year. Because I went to a good amount last year, but I am actually going to be taking the SANS GCIH next. Well, not taking it next week. I have the course next week. They actually have a live class
Nice,
here in Dallas, so it's going to be my first ever SANS course. Thankfully, my employers pay
nice.
for it. Shout out to my employers. So I'm going to be in Dallas. Well, I'm going to be in Dallas, taking the course throughout the week, and I think it's going to be really cool because like I've heard good things about it. Hopefully, I plan to take the exam before the end of the year, so that's going to be what I'm going to be working on, at least till
Cool.
to the end of the year.
Yeah, man. In freaking Dallas, man. I remember I went to Dallas last year. I had like barbecue like 5 times in a row. Sorry, barbecue, man. The
Oh
barbecue
yes, yes,
is so good.
absolutely,
Barbecue is so good.
absolutely,
Yeah, so the
right thing to
barbecue is so
do.
good.
Yeah.
But and I saw like one of your videos. I saw one of your places with like the arroz con pollo, like the arroz with the rice with beans and everything. I'm like, uh, yeah,
Oh
yeah, it
yeah, I
looks
think it
so
was like some
good,
Jamaican
man. I was
food.
like,
I
oh, it
think.
looks so good. I was looking
Yeah.
at the food. I'm a food enthusiast, so yeah, you give me that food, I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey man, whenever you come in Dallas, like we can go to like a couple of good food spots, whether like Jamaican or like about barbecue, whatever your choice is.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. And the other question, like, I was gonna ask you, do you watch any anime shows?
Oh heck yeah! So right now I'm actually rewatching Naruto. Afterwards, I plan to finish up Attack of Titans, and One Punch Man. But right now I'm
Nice,
rewatching Naruto.
nice. Yeah, I love One Punch Man. Naruto, man. No offense to anyone, Bruto. I don't know about that show, man.
I actually the reason why I'm rewatching Naruto is because I want to watch it into Boruto because I see some fire scenes and I think like I might actually like it.
I gotta rewatch it again. Try to give it a chance. I like
Yeah,
Shippuden. Shippuden is good.
Yeah, Shippuden was pretty
Yeah,
good. It's
Shippuden is
pretty
good.
good.
One Punch Man is he's funny, man. He's a character.
Hilarious. It's so funny, man.
And then Dragon Ball Z is good too. Dragon Ball Z is fire. Oh, Dragon Ball Z.
I gotta check that
Yeah,
one
Dragon
out.
Ball Z is fire. I watch some anime basketball shows. It's just so random. I watch some anime basketball shows, and I watched a
Yeah,
boxing anime show too. Actually, because I love boxing, so I watch anime shows for boxing, and I
yeah.
like Bleach. Bleach just came out with their episodes. I love Bleach. And One Piece. One Piece is great. I love One Piece.
One Piece, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just got a Crunchyroll subscription recently, so like I've been kind of like loading up my list of like shows. So I'm just like slowly like kind of chugging through. Like Naruto's a lot to get through first and
Too
foremost.
much.
So like I need to get through that, and then start like I feel like I have like a 10-year career of like anime ahead of me because like it's so many episodes, so many shows, and like I don't even watch Netflix as much these days. I just watch like Naruto all the time, literally.
Yeah, that was like that's why I asked you about anime. And I'm like, is he a man of culture?
Oh yeah, of
That's
course,
what I asked.
absolutely. I've literally got the Kakashi pop figure and the Naruto figure behind me. I have anime art of like Naruto in combined Sage mode and
Nice.
Kurama mode as well, and Sasuke behind that too. I'm a man of culture, man. Hey, look, I'm
That's
in
awesome.
there.
I have an Itachi Uchiha behind me over here. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Itachi
that's
Uchiha.
fire.
That's awesome, man. But I just want to wrap this up. I want to keep you forever because I know you got things to do, and I could sit here and talk to you for 5 maybe 10 hours of anime. We're not gonna do that because we both have things we got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what's your last piece of advice for someone brand new starting out in IT, like someone that is like actually that one piece of advice is that like what's your advice for someone brand new to IT? And then I know you're still I'm not saying you're old, but I'm saying you're a lot older now. Like what's one piece of advice that
Yeah.
you would have given yourself if you were going back in time at the beginning of your journey in IT and cybersecurity?
I love this question. So, piece of advice for someone who is just getting started in cybersecurity, I'll say is like honestly, one of the biggest things you can do for yourself is like just being consistent. It's definitely going to be the hardest thing you're going to do, but like it's going to yield results for you just in general, like in like just across the entirety of your life, right? Because you got to think about it. Like I know, like we live in a world where like people are like, we are trying to like emphasize a little bit more about like work life balance, work life harmony. But like you also got to realize that when you spend 40 hours a week doing something, that's like a third of your life that you spend doing that, right? So you better kind of like it or figure out a way to like it or do something else because like you're spending like a third, like that's 30%. Well, not was it 30%? Yeah, 30% of your life doing that, right? 35% of your life doing that. So like you got to learn how to first be consistent with it, right? Because you're gonna do this for a long time. If you want to build a career from it, like it and enjoy it, because it's gonna yield dividends, right? It's not gonna be enjoyable every single day. Studying cybersecurity or like learning new things, getting certifications, interviewing for jobs, like those things are like they're not convenient things to do, right? Like and doing them for like prolonged periods of time, it's not convenient, but your consistency is going to yield results. So learn how to be consistent, right? And try to have other things in your life that help you be consistent, whether it's like going to the gym, whether it's like your faith, whether it's like your family, like try to be consistent. Like it's going to really help you, like going to help you learn things fast and move fast in your career, right? That's one thing that I would say, like amongst every other thing, like consistency will really really keep you grounded and take you further faster than you ever thought you could get. Now, advice to my younger self is, wow, this is a I've never thought about this one because I like to really appreciate everything I've been through, like whether the things that I did right or did wrong. Um, and I feel like if I give advice to my younger self, maybe I wouldn't turn out like the way I am right now, right? And I don't think I would give my younger self like any advice because everything I went through, I had to go through to become who I am right now. Whether like career wise, whether like in my faith, whether like with relationships, whether with like I don't know anything else in my life. So like I would just say that if I were to advise my younger self, anything would be like just keep being consistent, right? Everything you're working towards is going to pay off eventually, right? And that would be the only advice, which is probably not going to be any advice because like I already had that mindset when I was much younger. But if I were to go back, I'm like, hey, look. you already are consistent. Just keep being consistent. Even if you can even put more effort into what you're doing right now, because it's hard. It's tasking. It's inconvenient. You're gonna have like some sleepless nights. Sometimes what you're gonna work on is not gonna be is not gonna make sense to you. It's gonna be pointless. But just in the midst of that, even through that, all of those things, just keep being consistent, because like it's gonna yield a lot of rewards and benefits, down the line. It's gonna help you be consistent for future things you want to do, because like right now I'm kind of in the middle. Like I've had my younger years. I mean, I'm not that old yet, but I'm somewhere like in my early 20s right now, and I need to start like working towards like where I want to be like in the next few years by the time I'm turning 30, and that's going to lead me to another stage of life. But everything I've learned so far, and I've learned how to be consistent with, is what has helped me to become where I'm at right now. So I'm learning how to like use that same consistency to work on other things to get me to where I want to be in the next few years as well. So that would be my advice to anybody out there, and also to my
Awesome.
younger self.
Hey, thanks for coming and chatting up with me. I appreciate it. Like I tell everyone, please rate, comment, subscribe, and also follow Dave. Follow his stuff. Follow his content. I'll put his content below the description of the video. Like I said earlier, Dave, like you're like a rising star actually for someone that is brand new to IT, or someone that's a lot younger in high school. Like I wish we had someone like you when they were like, I'm saying, wish we had someone like you around your age. That would have been nice to have some YouTubers like you, because you motivate other people to like get better. Even me, like
Yeah.
sometimes you give me a kick in the ass to be better at my stuff. So I appreciate that. And with that being said, I'll let you go later, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Peace.
Kev. See you guys.
All right.